In the chaos of modern life, we are constantly connected, but rarely in touch with ourselves. Notifications, conversations, tasks, and endless to-do lists fill our days. We are surrounded by people, but often feel distant from our true selves. Yet what if being alone, truly alone, is not something to fear, but a door to becoming who we were always meant to be? Abraham Maslow, one of the most influential psychologists of the 20th century, believed that solitude is not a withdrawal from the world, it's a return to the self. Maslow is best known for his hierarchy of needs, culminating in self-actualization, a state of becoming fully yourself, realizing your deepest potential, and living a life of purpose. But Maslow's work also contains something more subtle, more profound, an invitation to embrace solitude not as a void, but as a sacred space for transformation. Let's journey into Maslow's psychology and explore how solitude, far from being loneliness, can be your most powerful tool for fulfillment and growth. Maslow believed that solitude is essential to reach the highest levels of human experience. It is where authenticity is born, where reflection shapes our direction, and where clarity cuts through the noise of society. The sacred silence. Maslow on solitude. Maslow once wrote, "The ability to be in solitude is one of the signs of maturity and psychological health." This solitude he spoke of isn't about withdrawing from life. It's about reconnecting with it, with yourself, with your values, with your vision. He noticed that self-actualized individuals didn't fear solitude. In fact, they cherished it. They used it as time to recharge, to reflect, and to create. Maslow described these individuals as autonomous, independent in thought, and resistant to societal pressures. They didn't chase approval. They chased meaning. Why? Because they had something society couldn't give them, an inner compass. But that compass only emerges in quiet. Why solitude is not loneliness. In our hyper-connected era, solitude is often confused with loneliness, but the two are not the same. Loneliness is the absence of connection. It hurts. Solitude is the presence of self. It heals. Maslow saw solitude as a way of integrating experience, of understanding one's emotions and thoughts without the distortion of social masks. He believed that without solitude, it is nearly impossible to become self-actualized. Without solitude, we adopt roles. We become what others want. We lose ourselves in expectations, distractions, and superficial interactions. But when we are alone, intentionally, mindfully, we begin to strip away everything false. We hear our real voice, and for the first time, we listen. Solitude and the hierarchy of needs. Maslow's hierarchy of needs moves from the most basic human needs like food and safety toward more complex psychological needs such as belonging, esteem, and ultimately self-actualization. Most people stop at belonging or esteem. They never ascend to the top of the pyramid. Why? Because self-actualization requires solitude. You cannot become who you truly are if you're always surrounded by noise, digital, emotional, or social. To self-actualize, you must reflect. You must choose growth over comfort, truth over conformity. Solitude is the environment where this alchemy takes place. In solitude, you confront your fears. You question your desires. You discover your purpose. Maslow emphasized that this state isn't reserved for the elite or the enlightened. It's available to anyone willing to face themselves honestly, applying Maslow's teachings in modern life. Though Maslow's work dates back decades, his insights are as relevant today as ever. In our fast-paced world, it is easy to become overwhelmed by the constant demands of work, social media, and personal obligations. But if we want to reach our highest potential, we must make solitude a priority. So how can we apply Maslow's teachings about solitude in the context of modern life? Self-reliance. Maslow placed great emphasis on self-reliance, the ability to make decisions based on your own inner guidance, without the constant need for approval or validation from others. He believed that true self-actualization requires individuals to trust themselves and their intuition, Solitude, in this sense, is a form of self-reliance, giving us the mental space to make choices that align with our values and desires, rather than seeking external validation. Self-reflection and awareness. Self-actualization, according to Maslow, requires a deep level of self-awareness. He argued that people must be honest with themselves about their limitations, desires, and goals in order to truly grow. In solitude, we are given the opportunity to reflect on our lives and take stock of where we are in our personal journey. It's in these moments of quiet reflection that we become more attuned to our true selves, achieving clarity in decision-making. Solitude allows us to step back from the noise and make decisions that reflect our true values. Solitude provides the mental clarity necessary to make thoughtful, deliberate decisions that move us closer to fulfilling our deepest desires. The importance of letting go. Another key idea in Maslow's philosophy is the importance of letting go of what no longer serves us. He emphasized the need to shed attachments to material possessions, outdated beliefs, and unhealthy habits. Solitude allows us to detach from the distractions of the external world and focus on what truly matters: our inner growth, our goals, and our sense of purpose, embracing the fear of the unknown. Maslow believed that self-actualization required an individual to embrace uncertainty and let go of their fear of the unknown. Solitude gives us the space to face our fears, to be with ourselves in moments of vulnerability, and to grow beyond the limitations we place on ourselves. By spending time alone, we can begin to move past our fears and embrace the possibility of growth and change. How to practice solitude today. So how do we, in a world of endless scrolling and constant chatter, begin to walk this inner path? Here are ways to invite Maslowian solitude into your life. Create space to disconnect. Carve out time each day, even 15 minutes, to be with yourself. No phones, no noise. Just you and your thoughts. It may feel uncomfortable at first, but that's the point. Growth begins at the edge of discomfort. Practice reflective journaling. Writing is one of the most powerful tools for self-actualization. Ask yourself, what do I truly want? What am I avoiding? What gives me meaning? Let your solitude guide the pen. Pursue purpose, not approval. Maslow observed that self-actualizers are mission-driven. They follow inner purpose rather than outer validation. Spend time alone to ask, what is my mission? What impact do I want to leave behind? Let go of the fear of missing out. In solitude, you're not missing out. You're diving in. You're choosing depth over distraction. Every moment alone is a chance to realign with your values and vision. Make solitude a sacred ritual. Treat your alone time not as a luxury, but as a necessity. Light a candle. Sit in silence. Meditate. Walk in nature. Make it meaningful. Make it yours. The challenges of being alone. Let's be honest. Solitude is not always peaceful. At first it may feel like a storm. When you remove distractions, old emotions surface. Doubts appear. Memories whisper. This is where many turn back, afraid of what they'll find. But Maslow teaches us, the discomfort of solitude is a sign you're getting closer to truth. It's like detoxing from a lifetime of noise. You feel the withdrawals, but eventually you feel the clarity. And it is in that clarity that real transformation begins. Why solitude is essential for a fulfilling life. Maslow believed that human beings are not machines. We are meaning makers, seekers, dreamers, and in order to thrive, we need moments of stillness to align with our deepest truths. In solitude, you discover what matters most. You learn to accept yourself fully. You become resilient to the storms of life. This isn't about becoming a hermit, it's about becoming whole. When you spend time alone, you stop chasing shadows. You stop comparing. You stop needing others to validate your worth. You realize you were never missing anything. You simply needed to come home to yourself. Maslow's message: the journey is inward. Abraham Maslow didn't just give us a pyramid. He gave us a mirror, and solitude is how we learn to look into it without fear. You don't need to abandon the world to find yourself, but you do need to carve out space within it. Space for reflection, for silence, for truth. The world tells you to look outside for success, for happiness, for love. Maslow invites you to look inward, There, in the quiet, you will find everything you've been seeking. In a world that glorifies being busy, choosing solitude is a revolutionary act. It's an act of courage, an act of healing, an act of becoming. Abraham Maslow showed us that the highest form of human life, self-actualization, is not reached through achievement alone, but through authenticity. And authenticity is born in solitude. So today, give yourself the gift of your own presence. Step into the silence, and there, perhaps for the first time, you will hear the voice that matters most, your own. Because sometimes, the most powerful transformation begins not with noise, but with quiet. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. There's more depth, more wisdom, and more soul to explore, and we'll be walking that path together.